Hi, I've just made a very emotional video titled "This is not my country anymore, heartbroken. This is not my country anymore," and I really don't feel like it is. I do feel like I want to run away. You know, that fight or flight has kicked in. I had panic attacks today. I'm really in despair for the minority populations in Britain, the people who've immigrated here from Europe, the people who are Muslims, Jews. You know, I mean, they've been trying to say all along that the left, Jeremy Corbyn, you know, all his supporters apparently were all anti-Semitic, when actually we're the opposite of anti-Semitic. Jeremy Corbyn's the opposite of anti-Semitic. And instead we've got these far-right fascists in prison, in Parliament when they should be in prison. A lying, racist, cheating, lazy, overprivileged, posh bully boy in Putin's pay. Let's not forget Netanyahu's pay as well, and Trump's pay. Comrade Boris Johnson. And we've just had a Tory minister on TV explaining how we need an American-style healthcare system in Britain. This is so bad. But the thing is that we can't all run away, can we? I mean, yeah, the odd ones of us might be able to run away, but the vast majority of us can't. We haven't got the financial means to run away, and actually, where are we going to run to? So all we can do is stand strong together and get united and address this now. I think that we have to accept that there's been some shenanigans going on with this general election, but we're not going to get anywhere. You know, there's no hope through legalities. Legally, Boris Johnson should never have been allowed to stand. He lied. The Brexit referendum, he lied. He should never have been allowed to be Prime Minister. We should never have had the GE under a criminal government that has said they'll break the law to get Brexit done. Well, rigging votes is breaking the law. If that's all it takes to get Brexit done, rigging an election, I strongly suspect. Why shouldn't I? I've got every reason to suspect, because they stated that they're prepared to break the law to get Brexit done. And indeed they did break the law, proroguing Parliament trying to get Brexit done. We saw the mass public reaction to that. And now I'm being asked to believe that that same public voted for Brexit, voted the Tories in now. I find it hard to believe. But what choice do we have? We have to accept it, because they're not going, you know, nobody's going to change it now. They've won the GE. That's it. They own the government. We're never going to find out what has been going on, if there was rigging or if there wasn't. Trying to get this sorted out through the courts now, we're beyond that. It just isn't. It isn't going to be done. So, what can we do? I really don't know. I am at a loss. Apart from we stand strong and stick together and unite, and that we form into groups across the country and help each other out. That's all we can do. What is it going to be? Civil war on the streets? Martial law? That's what's coming next. Men with guns on our streets. That's what they've got planned. Then there won't be any more general elections in Britain. I don't believe. No. I just don't believe it. I think the only thing that could save us now is that we do in Iceland, and let the British people show that we did not vote for Boris Johnson, that we all come out a national day of action, a national strike. That would be the only thing I think that could stop this in its tracks. But I could be wrong. Perhaps the majority of people in this country did vote Tory. There was no rigging. They really do want Brexit that much. They really do want 50 years of austerity, a privatised NHS. They really do want to see another 200,000 people dead. Except it'll be more than that, because you're talking austerity on steroids. So, you know, let's say 400,000 or 500,000 people dead of austerity through suicide, illnesses not being treated because the NHS is that overstretched and underfunded, people dying of illnesses because of stress. But we do have to stand together strong. And as I say, the only hope now, I think, for Britain really is that we do in Iceland. That's it. And, you know, show all the people, if you voted Labour, all the people who didn't vote Tory, basically, if we are prepared to come out for one day. No riots, no violence. We don't need riots, we don't need violence. That is not going to solve anything at all. Damaging property, smashing our communities up. We do not want that. No. Peaceful protest. It's still our right to have a peaceful protest. They've not scrapped our human rights yet. We are still in the EU as yet. I don't know what the legal people can do. I am horrified, actually. But I think the people who are most scared are going to be Muslim people, the Jews, true Jews, you know, that supported Corbyn. Because they're up against fascism in exactly the same way every nation is right now. It is sweeping the world, and there's big money behind it. That's why it's so popular. It's because we are in a world that worships money. Money is God in this world. Now, according to my experiences of universal golden light being intelligence and its message of universal law of abundance and compassion, I'll leave the link sharing the experience again and my attempt at articulating it and what I think it means, okay? But I understand there's a higher power than the one governing this earth right now and its money. There is a higher power than that, and that is the power of love, the power of law, the power of rights. And that is coming to humanity. We are going to be aware of that. The whole of humanity. We are going to be aware of it. We're going to be aware of our quantum light being energy body that we all have, which is eternal, our eternal soul, that, you know, will be around a lot longer than any of the lives in this world. Life in the physical body is short. I do believe in reincarnation. I think many people do come back again and again and again. I do believe there is a quantum paradise. A quantum energy paradise. There are many dimensions. I think if we can get our faith behind Jah, God, we will find our way. Because, you know, people say, well, if there was a God, you know, how could God allow things that happen on this planet? How could God allow that? But God isn't in control of our planet. We left God. We're not with God. We're with the money. That's who life, human life, the vast majority of human life are serving the money. Whether we like it or not, whether we want to or not, the vast majority are just slaves to it. We know the money doesn't make sense. We know they're destroying the planet. We know the liars. We know the criminals. We know the terrorists. We know the deceivers, abusers. We know all of these things. But we don't have any choice, do we? We follow the money. Well, I'm sticking with Jar Light, and I know people don't believe me because who am I in this world? I've got no social standing. People shun me. I'm considered a weirdo, because I'm vegan and because I've witnessed a light being and because, I speak out on behalf of the oppressed. I mean, even people who are against Israel have quibbles with me because I don't support sanctions against Israel. I'm not part of the BDS movement. Why? Because sanctions, all forms of sanctions, harm children. And they harm everybody, the good people and the fascist type people. And I know that a lot of Israeli people, it isn't just Israel, it isn't just Jewish people live in Israel. There's Muslims, Christians. Many Jewish people that are in Israel don't even support this Zionist government that's governing their country. They're oppressed as well. They're very oppressed. I stand with them. So am I going to boycott Israel as a form of public type sanction when that could harm them people, the good people? No, I can't do it. What I've advocated is removing the Israel lobby from Britain until such a time as they have owned up to how many nuclear weapons they've got. Because if Israel is, according to all the evidence, as we strongly suspect, an illegal nuclear power, then what's it doing? Having a lobby in our parliament. These things need addressing. I am not against the entity of Israel. I'm against how it was created. I think it was totally wrong, but it's there now and children have been born there. I advocate Israel getting back into its borders and Palestine being made a nation and the two nations learning to cohabit as neighbours in peace. So I am estranged even from the boycott Israel movement. I'm estranged on every side. I am very isolated. And when everybody was calling for a GE after Johnson prorogued Parliament, I was begging and pleading, no, please don't have a general election. Make this government leave first, have an interim government, then have a GE. Do not hold a general election under a criminal government who've said they're prepared to break the law to get Brexit done. That means they're capable of rigging an election. If they're capable of shutting down Parliament illegally and lying about it, and lying even to the Queen, they're capable of rigging an election. Or was it just their lies? Was it just the BBC and the Sun and the Mail and the Telegraph and the Times and ITV and Channel 4, all of them having their pokes at Jeremy Corbyn? But we have to understand that, look at the evidence. Has in all our history of seeing general elections in Britain, have we ever, I have never personally witnessed that much support from the people of this country for one leader of one party as I've witnessed for Jeremy Corbyn. I have never witnessed it in my life. I have never witnessed such derision against a sitting Prime Minister standing up to be re-elected. I have never witnessed that person having to hide in a fridge, hide away from being interviewed by the BBC's top political interviewer. and then win by a landslide. I've never witnessed it. So I think it is up to people either now to start looking at 1 and 1 and making 2, and thinking, well, what are we going to do? Because our lives are on the line here, and our children's future is on the line. But in the meantime, we do need to reach out, and we need especially to reach out to the Jewish communities, the Muslim communities, the European immigrant people, and the people, fellow Labour supporters, and even Lib Dem supporters, who definitely did not want Brexit, and even the Tory supporters who didn't want Brexit. That we need to forget our divisions now and unite as a people for the sake of the child. Because if Britain if Britain goes now, that's it. It does not bode well for our planet. These people, they are hell bent on destruction. That is all they can do. Destroy, because they're holding on to seats of power. They've got to hold on to their power, and they have to get more and more brutal to do it, because they're making less and less sense. And they've bought this GE, either, as I say, either through rigging or through just their lies, smears. But I'm finding it really hard to believe that he won by a landslide. I'm finding it so hard to believe that. But I will be going out, and I'll be reaching out especially to the Muslim communities. And I think we, as British people, the white British people now especially, we need to stand with the Jews, the Jewish people, the Muslim people, the immigrant people. We need to stand up for them. And if you see anybody on the street being attacked, that we immediately step up and no, this isn't happening. We've got to get involved. We can't just keep people walk by. I've seen it. I mean, I used to, we used to protect the Somali people when they first started moving into one area and they were under attack. We used to do night watches and walk people to and fro from places because they were being attacked. That is all we can do. We need to stand together strong, and it's, as I say, it's very, very disturbing now. Was it Dominic Raab or somebody's been on TV just in the last few hours, last day, claiming, Britain needs a health system like America. I can't even believe that even people with money have voted for that. We aren't America. We can't absorb that. We just can't. We can't have an American-style economy on a little island that is Britain. You're talking there's going to be mass bankruptcy. 68% of all bankruptcies in America are through sudden illnesses, because the healthcare is just, oh gosh, I do want to run away. I feel like I want to run away. But I'm going to stand and do what I can for as long as I can. That's all I can do. But, what I've got to share, it's for the whole world. The experience of light being is for the whole world. It's been 27 years I've been trying to share it. 27 years of ignorance, scorn, derision, trampled on, judged mad. And to witness this, to witness liars and criminals basically step up to power while light being was ignored. And why? Because of the judgments against somebody like me, because I'm just a little working class nobody, and female at that. And I'm not bigging myself up as the second coming, or, you know, writing books and what have you. I'm just sharing it because I've kept it real. I've kept it down to earth where it belongs. And it is up to people now to step down to earth with it. And it's up to the people up there in the highest echelons of our societies to step down to earth with us and help us to find a way to address this horror that is facing our nation right now. And so, yeah, I'm sharing light being. I'm explaining to people, look, Jah is with us. Jah is with us. Remember that. Never forget it. And these people, they will face reality. They will not live forever. They will be leaving this physical realm, and they will realise, and they will have to give an account of their lives, and that their conscience will rise up and hit them like a ton of bricks. Literally, they're gone. They're in the void, unfortunately. And that makes me sad, you know, because I know that even they are victims of this world and the lies and what have you. We're all of us, in many ways, victims of circumstances. You know, I don't hate Boris Johnson. I don't hate these far-right fascists. I hate what they do. I hate the lies. I hate what they believe. I hate their objectives and ambitions. Because they defy and deny love. Because love lives by law, a fair, compassionate, just law, you see. And criminals do not like the law. And that's the rock bottom of it. And that's why we are where we're at today. Because it is against criminals, against our law, Jah law, and the rights that come with it, the human rights, the animal rights, the environmental rights, plant rights even. That's what this is about. Make no mistake about it. So all I can do is send love to everybody and hope, still hope, that people, somebody somewhere picks up on the message of universal love, of abundance and compassion. That's people, somebody somewhere can find faith in what I'm sharing, recognise my integrity, recognise that, look, I wouldn't lie to you. I know my experience was real. Again, I'll leave you the link underneath, supernatural or not yet. You don't have to listen to the whole video, though I would advise you to, but listen to the first part of it, the first 20 minutes. I share my experience. It was a very unusual, unique experience. It's not something I could have even made up. It was an event, and it changed my life. And I hope it will change your life. I hope it will change this world when people start to realise. And especially when they realise as well, you know, why somebody like me was chosen. I mean, I must admit, I felt picked on at times, but chosen for this experience. Why? Because of what I survived as a child. Because I was strong enough to carry it. To keep it real. I could be relied on not to turn it all into a giant ego trip. There's something to profit personally from. That I would keep it real. And that I am prepared to get my hands dirty and actually participate in this world. I mean, directly after that experience, about a year later, after everything that had happened, I spent 3 years in austerity. I had no possessions. Everything I owned was in a rucksack on my back. I was homeless for over a year, sleeping on friends' sofas and, you know, because I just couldn't function in the world. I couldn't enter a supermarket without having a panic attack. I gave up all colonial produce as I knew it then, you know, wheat, coffee, sugar, tobacco, because I was a smoker, everything. I gave it all up for 3 years. I actually went down to 6.5 stone in weight at one point. And I realised, like, I'm just getting nowhere here. People are starting to treat me, you know, I was just, I had to get in with the world again and become like a normal person. And I've been trying ever since, you know. I've always worked for human rights, animal rights, helping minority groups like the Muslims. What can I say? If people can't believe me, you know, if I need to have been educated at Eton or be a BBC sports presenter to believe, to be taken seriously, then there's no hope. There's no hope. And as I say, Jah returns to humanity when humanity returns to Jah. So all these people thinking, oh, blaming God for what's going on in this world. God isn't ruling this world. God is not in control of this world. But you'll find God everywhere in the kind people that you meet, the people who are prepared to reach out a helping hand, who are prepared to give a little, and also who are prepared to give a lot. But every act of kindness is a huge reward in the afterlife. Every act. And as I say, we have our souls, you know, and that is something that these fascists, the people that are oppressing our love and Jah law, they have sold their souls. They have this one chance in life, you know, die before you die. Reclaim your soul, get in touch with your soul, save yourself, forgiveness. Jesus wasn't lying. Repentance, forgiveness. Is it going to happen? Are we going to save our planet? It's up to us.